Hello, thank you for joining me today. This is Artful with Michelle. Today we're going to paint this red, white, and blue hydrangea on an 8 by 8 inch stretched and primed canvas. We're going to start by painting the background, and I use golden taklon brushes, and what I'm going to be using for this project is a 1 inch flat, a 1/2 inch flat of filbert, which is a number 6 filbert, and a smaller brush for the lines, like a round, this one is a round number 6. Okay, have a pencil handy or a stylus or the back end of a brush that you like for the little dots that will go on the flowers. Okay, so the colors that we're going to be using are Dick Blick acrylics, and we're going to be using the magenta, which is a deep red. So any red that you have that you like that's a deeper red will work great. Chrome yellow, Mars black, green oxide, phthalo blue, and white. If I add any other colors, I'll add them to the description. So we're going to start with the background, and then we'll blow dry that and get our little pattern on. Okay, so I'm just going to use some white and a little bit of phthalo blue, and I'm going to start using the motion of like the letter X going over and over itself, and they're little short strokes, and I'm going to make the left side lighter with a lot of white, and as I move to the right I'm going to make it a little bit deeper by just adding more phthalo. Adding a little bit of white to it. Okay. Go ahead and bring your color around the edges if you'd like, or you can paint the edges black. Black always looks really nice. Okay, so I'm going to blow dry this now and get the pattern on, and we will get started on painting our flowers. Okay, so the background is dried and now the pattern has been applied. And we're going to go ahead and start by base coating the flowers. So I'm going to take the deep red and I'm going to base coat. I think I'm going to add just a touch of black to that deep red, just a touch to make it a little bit darker, just for the base. Some of the canvas colors are a little bit transparent, so sometimes you can add just a little white to make it a little more opaque. This background for the flowers, the base can be very quick and your edges can be kind of ruffly, and that will be good for that. I'm going to rinse my brush. And now I'm going to use the phthalo blue with a tiny bit of white, and I'm going to base coat the flower on the right. I'm using the 1/2 inch flat for this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush, and while that's drying, I'm going to take the green oxide plus a little bit of black, and I'm going to make a black green, like an olive looking green, and I'm going to base coat the leaves. When you use your black, use it sparingly because it will take over if you're not careful. I try to get the traced lines covered. So this would be great for year-round, or, you know, 4th of July or patriotic holidays that you want to add a little something. This could fit on a desk or on a, you know, little spot on a wall. It's just an 8x8 and it's so cute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just make some lines here with the brush for the stems, which will be placed actually again later, but at least they're in there. All right, so I recommend drying that or letting it dry, and then we'll come in and we'll do all of the shading and highlighting for the leaves. We're going to keep this project simple. All right, let's get this dried. Okay, now we're ready to finish up our leaves. I'm going to take some straight green oxide, and I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit more on top of that darker color, leaving the darker color around the edges. It's just a nice little quick fun project. All right, I'm going to wipe that off. Now I'm going to put that brush in the water, and I'm going to take the number 6 round, and I'm going to take a little bit of green and some chrome yellow and a little titanium white, and I'm going to make a brighter green, not super bright but a little bit brighter, and I am just going to brush the highlight from the outside toward the inside. And again over here. Here. These are just quick little strokes, letting some of the green show through. Okay. Now we're going to paint the stems. So I have this stem coming in first, and then we're going to highlight the left side with some of that lighter green that we made with a little bit of white. And then the other stem is going to come on top of that. And we can make it a little bit darker on the right. And then grab some of that lighter green that we made with a little titanium white, and we'll go down the left side. All right. I'm going to take that 1/2 inch flat, and I'm going to make a quick vein in the leaf. So I'm doing that by taking a little green oxide and a little black again and making a darker color. And I'm just going to put the brush right in the middle and just kind of pull down. Pull down. I need it a little bit darker. Okay. You can come back in. We need a little bit more titanium white. These are all Dick Blick acrylic paints, but you can use anything that you have. I'm going to add just a little white to that yellow and come in and just add a little bit of brightness here and there. Okay. Now we will start our hydrangeas. So using a little filbert brush is really great because you have the shape of the petals. This one happens to be a Simply Simmons brush, It's a great little brush. This one is a size 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that red without any black with it. And I am just going to start making 4 petals that just kind of connect. And I'm going to add a little bit of white. And I'm going to add some on top. And so what you want to do on this is just let them, just kind of let them overlap. Okay, don't be super fussy, let them overlap. In the first layer, you're not going to see very much until we add white. And you can add just the red first. And you see how I just pull, 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 pull toward the center. So I just kind of imagine where the center is on that. And pull, 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 pull. The nice thing about these brushes is that they just have that shape already. So you can't, there's no way you can't make a nice petal with these. You don't have to squash it or spread it like you would a round brush. And it just gives you the nice shape. So make sure these get overlapped. Now I'm going to add some more white to the red. And I'm going to come ahead and overlap. Bit of white. So I just alternate the colors on my brush between the red and the white, and I make some brighter than others. If you have brighter reds, you could add that also. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit more white on my brush and kind of overlap a little. Then we will work on the blue one. I'm going to rinse my brush. I need a little more titanium white on my plate. I do transfer mine into these ketchup bottles just because I buy large bottles and these are a little bit easier to squirt from. So I'm going to use phthalo blue and white, and I'm going to make different shades of blue. So I'm going to take the phthalo, a little bit, and you can use cobalt blue also for this, or any blue that you have that you like. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to make 4 petal flowers. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter so you can see it better. Feel free to use different color blues. You can even make purples by mixing your blue and red together. That's always really pretty. Okay, trying to keep this up close for you. And you just keep layering them. Let them overlap one another. I'm going to come down here and I will zoom this in a bit for you. Okay. Let's make some lighter petals up here. You can keep going with this, and you can make these flowers as full as you'd like. If you want to have a light source, you know, you can make them lighter all on one side to make it look like the sun is coming in. I didn't really do that on this design. This is just a fun little quick design for you. What really brings this together is at the end when you put your little centers inside. These are like all little tiny flowers within a big flower. And once you put your centers in, then it all comes together. So I'm grabbing a little bit of red. I'm going to add a little phthalo blue to the red and kind of get a purplish color, which I'm going to put here and there on this red one. Like it's kind of shadowed there. Add a little more white to some of these. Okay. And then I'm going to grab mostly white, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of make a few lighter ones around the edge here toward the top. Okay, and a little here. Okay. Now, you can either make stems on these leaves, or you can make the flowers kind of go to the leaves, which is kind of what I did. And I just made them kind of spill out a little bit. Okay. I'm going to do the same over here. All right, so cute. All right, so whatever your method is for polka dots, be it a pencil tip or a stylus or whatever, you want to use white. So I'm using titanium white, and what I'm going to do is just dip in the paint with the point of the pencil, and then I'm just going to add little white centers randomly in these little tiny flowers that we created with 4 petal strokes. You don't have to be specific, you can just put these in randomly. But I do try to find some centers of the 4 petals that we put together. All right, let's get some on the red one. All right, there we go. Oops. Super cute. Okay, so here are our hydrangea paintings. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Thank you for joining me today. Go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel to see more offerings just like this. Thank you and have a wonderful day.